I'm going to run through the full rehab session, and a bunch of stuff is, well, not a bunch of stuff is different, but now I've kind of got free reign to do what I want to within certain limits. So, the very first thing that I've already done, but I haven't filmed, is I had for 10 minutes, I managed to get this roller underneath this knee, and I had this bottle underneath that knee. So, the way I got it into position is I use this, put it underneath, and then let it rest for 10 minutes. So 10 minutes with both of them underneath at the same time. That's like right at the end of the range of what I can actually do at the minute. And then now I've got basically a bunch of exercises to do. So I'm just going to go through them. So the very first thing is just single leg knee bends. So literally just as high as I can go. I'm alternating them just because there's no real strong reason why. Maybe like boredom, maybe, I don't know. So with these, I'm just going to basically where it starts to get uncomfortable. And just going as far as I can, essentially. So yesterday, I had my appointment at the hospital. Is basically useless from the perspective of seeing a consultant. Saw a different consultant who I don't know, who was very difficult to communicate with, to the point of where I had to ask to see a different one to actually get some useful information. And essentially, it was the tendon will be mostly recovered now. Now it's just a case, in terms of like the surgical site, now it's just a case of regaining the range of motion and strength. So I'm allowed. One second. So this is a different This is new. I tried this yesterday for the first time, and I could do it for like a tiny, tiny amount. I'm just gonna move this out of the way, so hopefully you'll be able to see. So this is the trying to do a straight leg raise without a lag. I've not been able to do this at all since. I can put my braces on and then I can sort of do it. I'm going to try it like just static. So if I just try and lift, it doesn't work, but I seem to need to lock my quad first and then lift. Two, that's the lot. And that's really quite sore on my knee. So I'm just going to make a note of that. Right side times 2. This one was both times 10. Now let's try the left side. So same thing, I need to flex the quad first. 1, 2. Just 2. So 2 on that side as well. That's still like a big progress to be able to do that. Like I couldn't do that at all. Next, I'm going to do both knee raises. What I'm going to do though is pop this underneath them so that I'm not getting caught on the bed sheet. Could almost do with like some slant boards or something, but this will do for now. So both knees. I don't know if you heard that click, but my knee just clicked. I realise this is probably, if you following these videos or watching these videos for the 700 training, the squats, bench and deadlift stuff, this is probably really, really boring. But if you've come across these after the quad repair, this might actually be useful stuff. These are the things that I'm doing to get back into being able to train. I've lost count. I said that was 6, 7. 8, 9, 10. Okay. Times 10. And then quad flexes. So for these, what I'm going to do is just put them on top of the roller, just so I can get a tiny bit of hyperextension of my knees. So literally just flexing my quads as hard as I can. Not really much happens. The reason I'm doing that is, I don't know if you can see, but I'm kind of lower in the bed because of just my weight has basically made a dent. So that's the 10. Real exciting. So that's like one round of the active quad movements. Now, the next thing that I'll be doing is on my side and then on my front, and then I'll go through this a couple times and then they'll be standing. But what I think I'll do, I don't know how long I've been doing this for. It feels like it's only been like a minute or two. But we'll see. I'm going to go through these in order, and then the last thing is going to be the standing stuff, just because I don't think I'll be able to tolerate a lot of the standing, and I don't want to do the standing and then not be able to keep doing these exercises. So I just need to make the bed flat first, and then we'll go from there. Right. So next up, need to get onto my side. Again, I could be wearing the braces for these, but since I'm just sat in bed, I'm quite happy just doing them like this. So this is where I try and become Madonna. And I am, when I'm doing this, keeping my quad flexed. So this isn't so much a quad rehab thing as it is just a using other muscles thing, because obviously I've not used anything for a while in my lower body, so it's making sure that everything still moves as well as possible. And the other thing with this as well is it's easier to bend and straighten my leg in this position. I guess because I'm not fighting against gravity in the same way, and I'm going to do the same thing the other way. So, like I say, I don't know how interesting this will be, but it's what I need to do every day, and I'm trying to do this 3 times a day where I can, if not more, just because I want to give the most chance to recover. And the thing is, with this stuff, I'm adapting to it relatively quick. Like yesterday, I could just about lift my leg in a straight leg raise in a sat-up position. Today, did 2 reps on each side. Also, I don't know how many I've done now. That's the only downside of this. Talking whilst I'm doing it. I'm sure this is a great view. And then, next thing, on my front. This is only last night when I actually managed to get on my front for the first time. So for this, just leg raises. This is like, if you imagine the most intense quad stretch you've ever had, it's like that. But obviously I'm barely moving. There's probably no reason I can't do both legs at the same time on this. I'll just do the 2 to even it out. So my right leg is a week, 2 weeks ahead in terms of the recovery, but they're staggered in terms of the timeline to what I'm allowed to increase and not increase. I think I'd prefer it if it was just the same on both, even if it was a slower one, make it simpler. So that's that. Next. So, next thing I'm going to do is all the same things that I've just done, but on the front leg. So 10 aside, hamstring curl, 10. Because I'm doing this a couple of times a day, I'm only doing it for a couple rounds instead of doing it for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever rounds. So the difference is this time I'm going to do stuff laid down to the best of my ability. Just because in this position here, quad is shortened more. So in the position of being laid back here, quad is obviously lengthened. So first thing is bent leg, just knee bends. Real exciting. So yesterday I saw a physio and she essentially said do as much as you can tolerate, little and often. So that's very much what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm supposed to be being contacted by the physio team who deal with this kind of injury today to see what they say. But I think that's more like an assessment for if I need other equipment at home and whatnot, rather than just what exercise to do. Because it's not really complex in terms of what the actual injury is. It's just that tendon just went pop. So it's just sorting that out. Right, what's next? Straight leg raise. So this one's going to be quite difficult, I think. I've not successfully been able to do this yet, so I'm going to give this a go. So I need to lock my leg first, and then lift. Well, this is a huge, huge PP. Oh, I've got to keep hold of my quad. Oh, that was really hard. I maybe should have had the brace on for that. That was like a 1 rep max, but literally just raising my leg. Let's try the other side. Oh, so that's massive progress. Oh, I can probably do sit-ups actually. I think what I might try and do later on is get onto the floor, because otherwise this bed's going to get so sweaty. It's still like changing the bedding every couple of days, and still just because it's where I am all the time. So same thing, but lying times 10, 1, 10, 10. So knee bend, that was both times 10. So then it's just the both leg raises now. I wonder if I can do these and get my heels off. Nope. It's funny, well, I think it's funny, like the straight leg strength is actually not bad. Not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Anyway, I don't know if you can see as well, this range of motion is getting worse and worse despite me still trying, which is also part of why doing little and often is because repeating the same thing for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever rounds, the quality just gets so low and I just get so tired, which seems ridiculous, but it is what it is, that I'm better off just doing less and more often. So yeah, anyway, physio yesterday was mostly just about using the frame. So I managed like a step or two in the hospital. And then at home I managed a couple more. So that was yesterday. Right, flexes now. These actually feel miles better here. The flexes in these positions. So if you've had this injury yourself, leave a comment on the video saying how it happened. And if you've not, then I'm sorry for how boring this video will be. Okay, that's those tendon. The next is the abductions. What I want to do as well is try doing press ups, but at the minute when I laid on my front on here, the idea of doing a press up, I don't know what it is. It's just like there's a disconnect between my lower body and my upper body. Even so, this is yesterday. I'm talking about when I was trying, it just felt like nothing would work. And I don't know if it's just because the bed is soft, so maybe there's like some, I don't know, some kind of neurological like protective mechanism in place, and actually everything's fine. But like from here, or maybe I'm just really weak now and can't do press ups. It's even like a plank position. No. Even like trying to go into a plank position there, it just doesn't seem to be working. But I haven't actually tried it with my brace on yet. It'll be good as well. I think some of the guys are coming over on Saturday. I'm going to help me rearrange the, well, I say going to help me, but they're probably going to have to do it, rearrange the garage. And then when I can do that, I feel like it will fast forward everything in terms of rehab, because at least like mentally, well, physically I'd be able to train, which obviously would be great, like actually use a barbell and stuff, because these little dumbbells I've got here, I am using them roughly every other day, but like there's only so many shoulder presses you can do with an 8 kilo dumbbell. Like, just kind of gets boring before it gets hard. So it'd be good like to do some benching and stuff again. I'd love to be able to actually start doing some proper exercise, and more importantly, I don't know if you can see there, but basically there's a doorway, and then on the other side of that doorway is the door to the bathroom. I want to get a shower so bad. So like, I'm really looking forward to that. Now, what I'm going to do, so let's see which is which. So this one's at 50. This one's at 40. No, 30. So what I'm doing is I've got them set at less than I can actually do for right now. And then when I'm doing like the stretching stuff, then it ups up to more. So this is only set to 50 at the minute, but I'm now allowed to go all the way up to 90, which is like that. But I'm nowhere near that. So I've got it set to 50 because I know that I can go to about 50, so that I'm not accidentally going too far and causing like actual injury or re-rupture. So it's not like I'm not trying to go to the extra range. I am, but I'm not wearing these most of the time whilst I'm just laid in bed, or like sitting about and stuff. That's the other thing. The other day I managed to get onto that sofa there to sit there instead. So that's like also progress. It's all the little things that seem super trivial and silly, but actually they're quite good, really. It's like just one step at a time. Because they're things that like you take for granted normally, but like after not being able to do these things for so long, being able to do them is like a huge step forwards, and it does make you appreciate things that you wouldn't. So like when people complain about doing certain exercises or whatever, it's like, really, there are loads of people that would love to be able to do that. Like there are always people in worse situations, which is not to take away, like, the worst thing to happen to you is still the worst thing to happen to you, but it sometimes puts things into perspective. So something I'd literally never thought about before is what it's like for wheelchair users just on the pavements outside, because the pavements they're not level, they're not flat, they're not smooth. So it's very difficult, especially in a self-propelled wheelchair, it's very difficult to wheel yourself straight because most of the pavements are slanted towards the road. And if it's a big slant, you just start veering towards the road, and it's very difficult to stop yourself from doing that. Even if you do, it just means that the speed at which you can push yourself is so slow. So it took us about an hour to do, well, it took me about an hour to do a mile. And even with that, I still needed help from Rich at 2 points. 1 point, there was a curb that was maybe about 6 inches or so, but it was the only curb to get across the road. There was nowhere else. We would have had to walk back what would have taken me a quarter of an hour to get to somewhere that we could have crossed the road. So that was one part. And then the other part was one of the roadsides, at one of the pavements, the slant on it was so steep that even with my best efforts, I was just going towards the road, and I wasn't veering towards the road. My wheels were just spinning. So like I had hold of them, and I was just literally just sliding to go into the road. So she had to like basically catch me and stop me. And then the other thing is when people are pushing you, you can feel every single thing under the wheelchair on your body. So every time you go through it, you go over a rock, and you can feel that. You can feel everything. So people in wheelchairs, it's something I never before thought about. I definitely will now. Anyway, with that said, so we got the bend there. See this? That's going basically to the end of that range of motion on the brace, and this one, same. That's roughly the most I can do on it, so that's why they're like that. Now, what things should I do first? Let's try. You know what? I'll increase the range on this actually. So I put this one to 40. I'll put this side to 40 as well. And then this side, I'm going to increase that to 70. And 70 there. So that's, yeah, roughly working. And that's working there. So they're set to just beyond what my range of motion is, so I can't go too far. So I want to do the press-ups, and then I need to do the standing and the hip raises. So let's try the press-ups first, because it might just be that I'm not strong enough to do them. I'm also going to try doing plank as well, but like just on my elbows, because then if I can do that, then I know the problem is not just my upper body. Because if it's just my upper body, then I've just gotten really weak. So my quads. Yeah, I can feel it. So I can feel as I start to put pressure through my quads, it's too painful. So, I mean, obviously it's not my favourite, but at least now I have a reason. Right. So, standing and walking. There's two different ways that I can get up out of this bed. One is using the bed and the other is using this chair. So I'll show you using the bed first, and then I'll show you with the chair after. So what I'm going to do is basically get myself over to the edge of the bed, try and move stuff out the way, and essentially I just need to get my legs over the edge. This grabber stick thing is super handy. You might have just got flashed, so I'll need to make sure I come back and just edit that. And same again. So I'll just have to zoom in for that bit and then zoom back out. So what I do is get myself as close up to the edge as I can. Basically, want to get my bum right to the edge of the bed here, because then I'm going to use the bed to stand me up. So with my legs, just pop them on the floor, and then obviously the same on the other side there. Now, to stand up, I would normally need something to push myself up, because with not being able to actually actively bend my legs, it makes it really awkward. So what I do instead is, if I bring my legs here together, then pop the frame here, so I've got this ready. And then what I'm going to do is stand up. Now what I just said was that I was going to show you out of the chair, but actually in the chair it's really simple. I just do a dip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring myself over to you, where the camera is, if I can get that far, because you're at the other side of the room. And if I can, I'm going to grab you and bring you back with me. Because otherwise, battery's probably going to die or something, and Rach is out for a couple of hours. So what I got her to do was, when she was leaving, was to just press record on the phone over there. So this has basically brought me up to standing. Now I can sort of put, excellent. The cat's decided she needs to be involved with this. Thanks, Jessie. Gonna bring this with me. So now there's some exercise that I want to do first. Some hip raises. Actually just need this to be a little bit lower for that. And then some walking. So for the hip raises, literally all I want to do is like I was doing before, but from here, do some raises like this. So I am letting my legs sag at first. And what I'm going to do though is I'm only going to do 5 of these on each side, and then 5 with the straight leg, because I want to be able to get there and back, and then I'll do more afterwards when I have to do more walking. Send straight leg. So lock my quad. Shake a lot doing all this stuff. So, strange thing with the rehab protocol, I'm full weight bearing on my right hand side as of 4 or 5 days ago. Obviously I haven't been, because I haven't had this. And I'm touch weight bearing on my left hand side until in another 3 days. But no one could give me a straight answer as to why. The only conclusion that they could come to is that because the brace timeline was extended on this side, so is the weight bearing. But assuming the brace is fixed, it doesn't really make any sense. So when I spoke to them yesterday, it was kind of like, try and keep most of your weight towards your right, but obviously can use both. So with that said, cat's in the way. That's perfect. Exactly what you'd expect from cat. Now let's go for a walk. Keep this on here as well. So left foot first, and then weight on the frame, and then right foot. And move the frame. Frame, left foot, right foot. Frame, left foot, right foot. Actually, left foot, right foot. This is miles better than yesterday. Yeah, this is great. Go for a run. This is definitely a massive improvement. I'm going to go get a shower today. This is fantastic. Yeah, honestly, it's like magic. I can just walk again. Right, we'll spin around and go back. So, I can now walk. How good is that? Yeah. Incredible. So genuinely, go to the last video. I wasn't putting that on. That was my walking ability then. This is great. There's a fly on my foot like a moth. Don't need that. Don't need it. I definitely do need this. Basically, can walk. How good is that? Oh, okay. Now it's getting hard. But still, compared to yesterday, and it's good. Right, that's going to be the end of the video for today. I'm going to pick you up and go back over there in a second. Try and get a shower later. Take care.